All right. So Noelle and I are just going to bring a little bit of fire tonight. And we're just going to talk about the importance of showing up where you are with what you have. It's funny that I had already planned to talk about this because I've been texting with a friend all day long, who I'm working on about Plexus. She's not there yet, but I'm working on her. I've been texting with a friend all day long about how she's underwater in this economy and how she's a single mom. And she and her son are actually moving back in with her mom because the cost of living is just too high. And she has a good paying job here locally. She works really hard, but they just can't financially make it. They can't financially make it right now. So I'm working on her, but it is just such a testament. It was such a good reminder to me today about the opportunity that we have to serve the people that are out there in and amongst us, not even just on social media, but there are so many people out there right now who need what we have. But we have got to be willing to get out there and be willing to show up and get over ourselves a little bit in order to reach those people. And, whether you've been doing this 6 months or you've been doing this 6 years or 7.5 years, like I have, if you are not where you want to be in this business, no matter how long you've been in it, if you are not where you want to be in this business, if you're not Ruby yet, or you're not Emerald yet, or you're not making X number of income that your family needs to make with this, then there is still another level of yourself that you need to die to, that you need to get over in order to get there. And I know for so long, I was so guilty of, well, I've been doing this for 3 years, or I've been doing this for 2.5 years. I should be further along than I am right now. When the truth was, there were still personal growth lessons. There were still leadership lessons. There were still things that I needed to learn in order to grow into that leader that my future team needed me to become. And I hope that doesn't come off as harsh. I really hope it comes off as encouraging. And maybe you need to hear that too. If you want Plexus to work for you, and you do, you wouldn't be on this call on a Monday night if you didn't. If you want Plexus to work for you, you have to be willing to learn how to be good at this. And the only way to learn how to be good at it is to be bad at it at first, and to learn to consistently show up even when you're bad so that you can get good at it. And consistency doesn't always look the way that we think it should look. Consistency is not 10 days of posting and thinking that we should have signed 3 people. It's not 15 days of reach outs. It's not even 45 days of reach outs. That is not going to build you a jewel business. It may not even build you a senior silver or a silver business, because what people are really looking for is somebody that they can trust, somebody that they know is sold out to this product, is sold out to this business, and can help them. And y'all drop me a comment here in the chat if you remember our sales training that we did about a year ago, our 3-part sales training. I might need to pull that back out of the vault sometime this spring and go back over that. But somebody tell me in the chat, what is it that every single person on planet Earth is always thinking about? What are they always thinking about? Does anybody remember? Maybe I'll send you something. Who's going to remember? Chandra knows. Noelle, I know you know. What's that?
I was just gonna say, isn't it themselves?
Yes.
I was just gonna say I wasn't there, but
said too, themselves.
They're all it's what's in it for me. That's what people know, regardless of what you're doing out there, they're always thinking, what's in it for me? And at the end of the day, people really don't care. Maybe they'll talk about you, but they really don't care if you're cringe or not. What they want to know is if you can help them. And the only way for you to show them that you can help them is to grow credibility and speak with confidence and conviction about what you're doing. So that's what I want y'all to do. I want you to get out there and forget about how you look, forget about who's stalking behind the scenes, who's secretly watching your stories. And maybe they are making fun of you. Probably they are. Like, let's just go ahead and put it on the table. I have been made fun of for years. But you know what? When I open up my bank account to pay my bills, guess who doesn't freaking care who's being talked about behind the scenes? It's me, because I'm able to be home with my babies and I'm able to do things on my own terms because I was willing to get out of my way and be cringe for a couple of years and figure this thing out. So that's what I want you to think about. I want you to think about the one person who needs to hear what you have to say, the person who was in the same health place that you were in, the same financial place that you were in whenever you started, and speak to her. My team, I know, and Noelle, I can share this training with you because it was so good. Keith Callahan, he wrote Build to Last, the book study that we did a couple of months ago. He did an incredible training for Trisha Regar's team, and she shared it with me. And some of y'all,
I love him.
He's so good. Did you see that training video? I don't know if I sent it to you or not. I'll send it to you
Oh.
so you can share it with your team.
Thank you.
But in his training that he did, he said that you're looking for 5 people. 5 people is kind of the magic number in network marketing that you want to catch the vision and run with this. 5 people will build you a sustainable business. And when we really shift our perspective to, oh my gosh, like 100 people might see my Facebook stories today, or 150 people might see this reel today. When we shift it from that and being afraid of what those 100 people might think of us, and we shift it to, let me go find those 5 people, let me go and find them, it changes everything. It'll change your posture. It'll change the way that you show up. It will change your confidence level, because listen, you can find 5 people. You can find 5 people. And some of y'all, this was an old Plexus graphic that kind of was floating around back in the day. And it was a picture of this miner, and he was down, and you kind of had like this, like the ant farm view of this miner, and he's digging and digging and digging and digging and digging. And he gives up when he's about 3 inches from hitting the gold mine, from hitting the pot of jewels. That's what this is really about. You've got to be willing to keep digging until you find those 5 people. And so that's who I'm looking for. I'm looking for 5 people. And what those people look like is me 7 years ago. Me 7.5 years ago, before I knew what I was doing, before I figured out social media. I'm looking for somebody with a why in her heart and a work ethic in her bones that wants to make this happen, that wants to come and do this with me. She doesn't have to have it figured out, but she needs to want to run. She needs to have a why. She needs to have a drive. That's who I'm looking for. Think about the person that you joined for. Probably you didn't join her because she was sharing pretty graphics and because she had an aesthetic feed. You joined her because you knew she had what it takes to be able to lead you to do this well. And that's why people are going to join you. You've got to show up in that same way for your audience, because really this is a formula. This is a formula. There are people who make it in network marketing, and there are people who stay stuck in network marketing. And the people who make it, it's not because they're prettier. It's not because they're more popular. It's because they were willing to do the self-work, and they were willing to be consistent, and they were willing to dig in and speak to those 5 people instead of speaking to the masses. And I want to just speak to the truth that you're going to feel like you're in this messy in-between stage, maybe for a really long time. I felt like I was there for 3 years before I really started making a real, like, stable income with this. It took me 3 years to go and stay senior Ruby. So like I said, it doesn't matter how long you've been in this. If you feel like you're in that in-between stage, you need to understand that this is your rite of passage that you have to go through. Maybe you need to be a little bit cringe. Maybe you need to figure this out. Maybe you need to get extremely consistent, but you've got to do those things to get over the hump. And you may be in that in-between stage for longer than you would like, but that's because you have something left to learn in that season. So don't give up on that. Use this season as a growth season. Use it, embrace it as, what does the Lord have yet to teach me in this space? Because I can tell you right now that when I thought that I was ready to go Emerald after 3 years in this business, after 3 years, I was like coming before the Lord, and I was like, Lord, I am doing the work. I am doing all of these things. Why haven't we hit this goal yet? And I can look back and see that I wasn't ready for my Emerald team yet. I wasn't ready for the leaders that were going to come into my team. I still had things to learn. So I don't want to talk all night because I know Noelle's got a couple of things to share, but I wanted to just quickly share 3 things that I feel like really helped me get over that hump and really started showing up on social media and speaking differently. And Leanne and I were talking about these earlier this week, and she said, you need to share that on a call. So that's what I'm doing. So these are just 3 things that I did that I really feel like shifted my perspective and helped me show up in a bigger and bolder way. The first one, and maybe this is specific to me, but I think we all have this tendency to share safely on social media. I had to stop hiding behind my comfortable life on Instagram. And for me, it was really easy to create content around my kids and my life at home because they're cute. And it was easy to do that. And it felt comfortable. And I felt like I could kind of hide behind that. Being on social media doesn't mean that you have to document every single moment of your day. In fact, you probably shouldn't document every single moment of your day, because why? Somebody tell me, why are people following you? Are they following you because they want to see cute pictures of your kids and they want to see everything that you have going on during the day? Maybe your mom does, or maybe your sister or your aunt does, but the person who is going to join you in this business is showing up on your stories to see what kind of value you're going to bring her. So gaining clarity on how I was going to show up and add value was crucial for me. And that doesn't mean you have to necessarily have a niche, although you need to show up and have clarity on who you're serving. But it just means that you need to get out there and find ways to add value to your ideal person. Don't get caught up in the word niche, but show up with a purpose. Is that going to require some forethought and some planning? You can't just roll out of bed and video your kids. Absolutely, it does. Anything worth having requires work, but get out there and show up with a purpose. And honestly, that's going to open up your day, because I used to think that I needed to have 15 stories in order to be successful. If you show up with 3 or 4 high impact stories throughout the day, you get in and you get out and you're done. So show up with clarity and stop hiding behind the things that are comfortable to share on Instagram. The second thing was just starting to show up in my own life with the attitude of personal development. I started diving into podcasts, listening to audio books, really focusing on becoming the person that I needed to be to level up in that next area of my business, and really just taking that and turning it around and sharing it with my audience. The things that I was learning on these podcasts, the life lessons that I was learning, I was turning around and sharing those with my audience. And then I was turning around and sharing it with my team as well. So start showing up, start walking the walk in your own life. If you want to lead people, you've got to get good at leadership, and you've got to grow yourself. And then the third thing that I started doing, and this really was just more of a mindset shift than anything, I just started showing up without apology. And I think, and this was something I kind of didn't even realize that I was doing. And I think a lot of us can do this if we're not careful. We almost get on and we almost apologize for sharing about Plexus. And y'all let me know in the comments if you've ever been guilty of that, of like, hey, this is what I'm doing. I don't know if it's for you, but, DM me maybe if you want to try some, maybe, I can shoot you some. It's almost like we're apologizing for sharing. And we do the same thing with the opportunity. I don't know. I'm doing this opportunity event tonight. I don't know if it's for you. But maybe you just want to come check it out. There is a whole different posture, and you can even use the same wording. It's all about your posture. Chandra, I don't know if this is for you or not, but I've got an opportunity event going on tomorrow night. I would love it if you would come be a fly on the wall. I really think this could be something that you might want to think about. Change your posture. Stop apologizing with your words and with the way and the tone that you speak. Be confident about what you've got going on. Be confident about these products. Be confident about this opportunity, because when you speak that with confidence to the right person, they're going to join you. And I know that they are, because you guys have done it. If you did it, somebody else is going to do it too. So those were the 3 things that I feel like really shifted my perspective. And once you can start doing that, the right people are going to be attracted to you. And Noelle, I feel like you're the perfect person to talk about attraction, because you have one of those magnetic personalities, and I feel like you do so many of those things so well. And one of the neat things that I love about Noelle and just our relationship is just how different we are. Most of the people that I recruit come from social media. Probably most of the people that Noelle recruits come from in-person relationships, but she does those same things unapologetically in real life. So Noelle, do you want to talk about that?
Sure. We actually just did a nutrition and supplement Zoom, Rebecca and Dan and I, like an hour ago. And the people I had on there, every one of them I met in person. One was in the bathroom at Tony Robbins, one was at the workout. But I just want to share something funny Dan said. He said he joined Plexus for the cute graphics I made. Just kidding. He goes, yep, that's why I joined you. So I just had to share that for a moment of humor, right? But yeah, so for me, it was different, because when I started, I already knew I had a purpose from God to help people. I just couldn't figure out what it was. But I didn't even know Stephanie. My ex-husband was just like, you're going to take these products. And they helped me. And I was like, I need to tell the world about these. But to me, it was like sharing Jesus. Like, I don't care if people do it. Everyone's got to know, though, because it's not going to be on me that they didn't hear about it, that they couldn't have saved their own lives. I did. One of the most important things I learned down the line was that follow-up is important, and people will be sitting there wishing they had joined you forever. But a lot of people don't have the courage, or it wasn't the right time. So one of the most important things I learned was follow-up. And the other thing really was the consistency on social media. And I have to say, I have not been good this last 2 weeks, but My family, every one of them made fun of me at Easter because in January of last year, I said I was going to show up consistently. And by Easter, every family member was like, you know, you're a joke, right? Every family member. But guess what? I walked out of there with 7 messages from people telling me how much I inspire them, how much I've helped them. So I was a complete people pleaser before Plexus. And when I joined, I realized now 9 years later, I have helped so many. I never helped anyone as a people pleaser, guys. No one. And now I don't even know if someone talks bad about me because I don't care because I'm on a mission to help every person I possibly can. And I get to help so many people and my relationships are so much better because of it. And as you grow and as you learn how to really attract people with your passion and excitement, the people you need are going to come to you. I mean, my team's changed in the last 9 years so many times. And Stephanie always tells me like, ooh, look at your team now. Like I attracted all the people I always wanted, but I had to be that person to attract those people, right? Like back in the day, I would have been like a nurse practitioner, Rebecca. Nicole here is a doctor. Did I ever dream I would attract people like that? Never. But I now have attracted like the most amazing people on earth. And like everyone hears me say, like I attracted Maggie through gratitude. Like I have a very strong gratitude practice. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. We had a lot of things happen. You know, you guys all have life happen, right? There was not a day that I didn't mention Plexus in the last 9 years, even when things were happening. But I maybe didn't do as much work on my own personal business as I wanted to the last 2 weeks. I did stuff still for my team, but I got really into prayer last night and I said, okay, we have to sign 5 people in the next 2 days. And I woke up to literally 3 messages, people saying, I need help with gut health. I need to take your products. One was someone I met in person. One was someone who saw my social media. And they all said they needed me. And I swear, I know this sounds crazy, but if you thank God in advance for sending the people into your life, it doesn't mean you don't have to do the work though, guys. There is a thing for like thanking God for manifestation, for creating what you want, but you have to put the action behind it too. If you never opened your business doors and made a post on social media or opened your mouth at the store, and when I say that, I will tell you, I hear people on these calls all the time, like, oh, well, no one will talk to anyone. I remember 9 years ago standing in line at a store going, how can I talk to this woman? What can I say that'll make her feel special? Like, what can I say to start up a conversation? It wasn't like it just naturally happened. It was like, oh, she turned the TV on. It was something that I made a habit because, and Chris said this on our last mindset call, I got uncomfortable until it became my biggest comfort zone. So maybe I know that I'm never going to be a great teacher like Chelsea, so I'm going to pick her as my power partner and we're going to just roll it home. I also know there are times you have to step out. Like my first live video, I was like, oh my God, I'm so squirrely and all over the place. Now, if I get on a live, I'm like, if I help one person, if I help me, it's good, right? Like all you have to do is help one person. And if you forget about everyone else, and I always think if that one person was the old me on my hands and knees, begging God, crying myself to sleep, if that one person was me, I have done a good, you know, I've lived a purposeful life. And so I want you guys to think of this as everybody has different habits and ideas. And I have a reading partner and he's incredible. And he made a really good point. I'm going to explain this to you, right? We all have different ideas. My idea is that I was brought here from God as a purpose to help people and I'm going to serve people. And if I don't message enough people tomorrow or I don't tell every person I meet about this, I didn't serve them. It's up to them if they want it or not, but I need to serve. So he got on this call with my brother-in-law and I message people all day long, whether, you know, and he goes, Noelle, what is your idea behind messaging people? Like, why do you message people? I'm like, because I want them to feel special. I want them to be part of a community. I want to tell them I'm grateful for them. I want to invite them to a workout or an empowerment call or to supplements. I want to invite them to whatever they need. It might be our community. It might be, you know, like the self-development thing was huge for me. So I invite everyone to that. But it's because I know I can serve every single time I send a message. And then he asked my brother-in-law, why don't you message anyone throughout the day? And he's like, because I think I'm bothering people. 2 people, 2 ideas, 2 different outcomes because of the idea you had around that action. He then asked Dan, why do you go to the gym every day even when you don't feel like it? And Dan said, because I know it's going to help my mental clarity. It's going to help my body. I'm going to be able to serve more people because I'm going to feel better because of it. And then he said, why do most people not go to the gym? Because it's going to be hard work, because it's going to hurt, because their kids need them, whatever. But 2, you can have whatever your idea is, just know that you can shift that idea. So I used to have the idea sometimes that I didn't want to bother people with follow up. Now I have the idea that people are busy and they forgot and they deserve a second chance at having our community or our products or our business. And it's up to me to remember. And so now I just have to work on my organization. But I will not reach out because I want to serve as many people as possible. So those were a couple of the things that I wanted to say. And I'm in a mastermind right now. And our mentor always says, when in doubt, put good out. And I will continue to say that forever. If you are stuck and you don't know what to do today in your business, message some people why you're grateful for them. Ask someone if you can serve them or pray for them. All you have to do, and we used to do gratitude Fridays. And I remember people on our team saying, wow, I got better response. I wasn't even trying to get Plexus people. I was just trying to send gratitudes. But then it's a great way to feel good. You serve other people and you're going to feel better whether they want Plexus or not. But half of them, that's what's going to make them want it, is that they see your servant heart, right?
Absolutely.
So I just want to share that with you. Like, just continue to serve. And the more you serve, the more it comes back to you. And we're not serving so it can come back to us. But we do, the more you serve, the better it goes, right? And honestly, I know most of you, I think every one of you on here are Christian women. Like, God has a greater plan for us, but we have to thank him and have faith that he is taking care of that greater plan. I guarantee, I got boogers. I guarantee I did not think my plan from God to serve people was in the form of supplements and a network marketing company. But thank God I was open, because all I want to do is serve bigger and better. And now my why's grown. I want to help single moms who can't afford to take their kids on trips. I want to help people become leaders. I love mindset. I want to help people both with the health part, but also with the mindset part. Like, you just keep growing and evolving and you see God's hand in all of it. But if you're not open for these opportunities, and if you're not open to grow, sorry, I'm kind of feel like I'm on I got really passionate and excited. It was a little high, but well, Nicole likes it. That's good. I literally just cannot stress enough that you've got to go big or go home. Like, you can play around a little bit. And when I used to come in and out of this business, depending on how I felt, it never worked. I had one of the most horrific things happen to me in my life this weekend. And you know what I did? I dealt with it. I prayed, and then I went back to work, not because it's work, but because I get to serve and love life and show up. And I was excited to do it.
Noelle, you amaze me. And all of that we're talking about, being able to show up and serve and show up with purpose, none of that happens without putting in the work, without putting in the self-growth work. And one of the really neat things that has happened to me, there's like an Instagram reel. I don't know if y'all have seen it. And it's this kind of Valley girl. And she's like, dude, I'm getting my personality back. I don't know if y'all have seen that reel. That is how I felt after a couple of years on Plexus. And one of the things I did, I put it in the chat. We were challenged, like with an IPA challenge within my first 6 months of Plexus, to do like Noelle does and start talking to people at grocery stores and start talking to random people. Now I can tell you 7.5 years in Plexus, I have never talked to a stranger about Plexus at a grocery store. I probably never will. Like, that's just not my vibe. But I did make it a habit this first 6 months of approaching strangers with the sole purpose of practicing my conversation skills and giving them compliments. And the easiest way to start with that is to just literally compliment strangers. And if that is not a day maker, like every time I go out to the grocery store now, it is my goal to compliment at least one person. Come to Vegas with me at convention, and that's all I do is I stop people and I tell them how cute their outfits are, how pretty their hair is. And you literally see people light up in the grocery store. You see them light up in the elevator, because people need to hear those kinds of things. And what the byproduct of that is the things that like Noelle is talking about. It will literally start to change your personality. It'll start to change the way that you communicate with everybody. It changes your energy. It makes you more confident. It makes you a better person. Just like Noelle said, put the good out there. When in doubt, put good out there. There is always somebody to edify. There is always something to be grateful for. And it literally changes your personality and your energy. So there's that. It really, I feel like when people say that they're a different person because of Plexus, so much of that is because of that inner work and being willing to serve without expecting anything in return. I'm not expecting to sign that person at the grocery store because I'm not going to tell her about Plexus.
But you're allowed to your social media, and
that's
then
right.
all
That's
there.
right.
And that's fine too. I don't tell everyone right off the bat.
No, I know you don't. I know you don't. But it's just so natural for you. It's natural for you.
I just love people. And that's the other thing. If you guys love people, you're gonna do well at this. You just have to love them big. And
And sometimes you have to make yourself and remind yourself that you love people. Sometimes you have to remind yourself that you love people. And sometimes people need you to go get them. Like that, and that's how I feel about Stephanie. Like she didn't know it, she didn't come after me, but I really feel like she got me. Like she took me out of the place that I was in and brought me into what we are living now. And if she had not had that initial phone call with me and been willing to coach me and walk me through, I don't know where we'd be. She came and she got me up out of the mires. That's
You know
really
what?
what
You know what's crazy, Chelsea? Like you and I both thank Stephanie on a weekly basis for changing our life. Imagine that you get to be that for other people. Then do we care that our family made fun of us or someone from second grade? We just changed people's lives. Like my life as I know it would not be. I probably wouldn't have this baby. I probably wouldn't have this life if it weren't for Stephanie sharing something on social media and my ex-husband seeing a post. Like that is amazing. The other thing I want to remind you guys is the power of repetition and affirmation. I spent the last year thanking God 20 times a day for me being a confident, inspiring leader of leaders. It started just an inspiring leader, and then lately I added on leader of leaders because I don't want to like lead followers. But I had to say that, and I didn't believe it. A year ago, I did not believe I was a leader, guys. And I now think I'm a very confident leader. But it took me repeating that to myself. Thank you, God. Thank you that I'm a leader. Thank you for empowering me to be this leader. And you just keep reminding yourself and state who you are in the name of Jesus, right?
I love that. So good. Positive affirmations, like it sounds so cheesy. It was one of those things in the beginning, and I was like, we are not doing that. But you know what I do is I have my kids do them. My kids write out their affirmations and who they are in Christ every single morning when we sit down and do our devotions, because I know that there's power in it. Speaking to yourself in that way has power. And it's 9 o'clock. I want to close this out because I know we got places to be. But kind of like on the topic of milestone birthdays, Chandra's having one today. I've got a big milestone birthday coming up this year. I'll be 40. There's something about like reaching a milestone like that and kind of getting to a place where you just personally have to get to a place where you just don't care anymore. Like, what do you have to lose? Like, what do you have to lose? Like, nobody is going to be standing around talking about me in 80 years. Maybe my great-grandchildren will. I don't know. I don't talk about my great-great-grandmother that often. But you know what she did? She left a legacy on my life. The person that she was shaped generations. The people who don't matter, don't matter. They don't matter. So you just had to have to get to a point where it's like the only people that matter are the people who are going to be living out my legacy in 80 years, who are going to be the fruit of who it is that I'm becoming now and the things that I'm going to leave behind. So I don't know. I just think the older you get and the more clear you get on who gives a darn, the better off you're going to be. Better off you're going to be. So I'm getting a little sassy as I get a little closer to 40. And I kind of like it. I kind of like it. Shannon is like in that era. I'm like eating up all her and Chandra's content.
No, my kids tell me regularly, like, your filter is leaving daily. Sorry about that.
Right. That's right. That's right. Oh my goodness. All right, y'all. There she is. There it is.
Thank you, Chelsea. I love you. I'm
Oh,
so
I love y'all so
grateful for
much.
you. You're in my gratitudes every day.
Wait. Love you, Fran. I love y'all too. Hey, Ashley, did you see it? Did y'all see
How
it?
did you do that? I want to do that. How come you get to do that?
Wait.
Only you?
It did it with the thumbs up.
Oh my gosh. How do I do this? Now I'm sad. I want fireworks and
Oh my
parties.
gosh.
Chelsea, you're like Disney World tonight.
I don't know. Sometimes you remember how it was doing the thumbs up?
Yes.
Like, I don't know. Maybe because I pay too much for my Zoom account.
I love it.
Oh, if I'm the host, then I can do it. I'm like, I pay a lot for mine.
It's the host.
Oh.
I want to do that. I'm
I'm
so
gonna see if I can turn it on for everybody, because wouldn't that be fun? That'd be
Yes.
figure it out. Let me know because I'm all about.
All right, I love you girls.
Love you guys.
Night,
Bye.
everybody.